All right, good morning. Good morning. So this morning we're opening actually very close to where we were closing on Friday. Friday did end up closing the gap, checking a little lower, and then we closed pretty high. Now, one thing I've noticed on the hourly chart though going into this morning is we did have quite a spike up, and then it did a two-legged pullback which failed. And for me, a two-legged pullback that fails is a very strong signal that the opposite pressure is quite a bit stronger. So as we were approaching this moving average, I wasn't interested in like a third opportunity or anything like that. If it was going to go, I wanted to see it go from there, and it didn't. So gonna be quite patient for longs unless we get a really clean like mean reversion trade maybe early on. But my approach this morning right now is that sellers are stronger for now. Let's see what kind of price action we get as the morning starts to open up here. But we had a little trap situation here on my yellow line happen, and then we got a nice sell-off after it. So the trap was, you know, proven to be a trap for how I read it and stuff anyway. And we are now fairly extended away from the moving average. So maybe we get a little whipsaw at the beginning for an opportunity maybe to play to the long side, but it would just be for a quick reversal, like mean reversion, not for an actual, like, you know, big swing entry, especially now that we're losing the moving average and stuff on the hourly after the failed two-legged pullback. Definitely going to be approaching looking for short opportunities for the extension trades anyway. So that's my analysis going in. So we'll see how we open up and go from there. There's no economic releases this morning that I need to be ready for during our session. We do have Fed interest rate meetings happening. I think it's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow and Wednesday. So definitely could have hesitation maybe while we wait for that. I'm not sure, but we'll kind of take it as we see it. Good morning, man. How are you? So that's our analysis on the morning anyway. We'll kind of see what we get. We are fairly extended away from the moving average. It was a pretty aggressive push, so we may see some profit taking here at open. So we'll see if this sets up for a potential mean reversion to come back towards moving average a little bit, but ultimately, like I said, I'm going to be watching for short opportunities for now, unless I get shown otherwise. We're back testing the tops, the breakout. Ooh, is it? I knew it was contract rollover. Oh. What do we got here? 13K so far on the 5-minute. Roll forward. Oh, you right. You are absolutely correct. Thank you, sir. Yeah, you are absolutely correct. Thank you. Double the volume, actually. Yeah, yep. Yes, I definitely want to do that. I rolled forward there just now. Thank you for that. So we're still pushing. That trap level still kind of holding strong from before open. Kind of back into this little valley here. Found some buyers down there. The retest looks like it's trying to hold for now. See if we can hold what we gained there. And didn't close any higher. And again. This might be rejection right there. That was a quick pop in the downtrend. Looks pretty nasty reaction off that moving average. Closed so far away. Never gave me a re-entry price. That's all right. Looks like it is following through right back to the low. It's a pretty good signal off that moving average. We have a pretty nice one-time push on the way down here, but we're so far away from the moving average that if I got a quick like low one entry down here, I wouldn't be able to take it because I'm too far stretched. My filter won't allow it, so that automatically switches my brain to watch for potential mean reversion or a different pull, like a little bit more of a pullback. It was good price action to short off of, but the candle close was so far away and it didn't give me a cheap enough entry to get in to manage my, I would have had like 4.5 points of risk right away. Well, we closed the second candle back up here. We're trying to close up and above what we lost. We haven't reached a real big liquidity area on the higher time frame. Didn't really test lower. There's definitely bids holding this up. Tested just a tiny bit higher. 2 ticks. No candle ever went lower though, so it's all still, this is the first opportunity to get short. Tough spot for me. Price action here looks, I mean, it's a decent signal bar too off the moving average again, but it's the low one, which I don't really want to take. And this little accumulation here to me looked a lot more bullish than this spike fail did, which led me to want to be a buyer at liquidity more than a seller. But sellers are still trying. No trade yet. Does look like it wants to recheck the low though. Our attempt to test this range below failed, so next spot's the low. Sellers are still in control. That was our first red to green, a 5-minute chart now. There's the new low. So two good signals really off the moving average, but not really good for how I want to get in. But visually it does look nice. Looks fairly clean. All right, I'm skipping too many songs out of this playlist. It's just getting scuffed. The YouTube playlists are letting me down lately. Feel like if we keep going lower, the spot that the market's going to want to check is going to be underneath this swing point. 46.80. We're pretty close. Some swing points here. 75, 80. Big one down there. It's a decent possible reversal if this candle closes up. We got our second push down a little bit lower. We have the buy up, which did close low. Tried to go. We got a double bottom, failing. This could be a good mean reversion trade. This candle did not close low or above, so no trade. It was looking really good. It had everything I wanted if it closed above the previous close, but it did not. Still waiting. That was a good debate. They made that look really good until like the last 3 seconds of that candle close. Getting closer to that 80 liquidity level. Let's try this one. All right, still pushing. Try to get a little bit of buy up there. At this point, we're so close to the liquidity pool, I feel like it's probably just going to go there. We did one time down. A little momentum entry here kind of worked a little bit, but meh. Really looking for the opposite trade at that point. We're really far away from our moving average now. Definitely going to pay attention closely at that. If we get in and test below, if we get good price action, that might be our profit taking level. Trap level played out very, very strong. Got a lot of candles in a row. There it is. All right, we peeked in. Just a peek though so far. It has vocals. Lied to me. So we did get some reaction. A little bit so far. Nothing actionable for me yet. Well, it is reacting. It didn't really give me... I can't really use a doji. That's my entry. I mean, it might have been on a smaller time frame, 2 attempts, but I never got 2 attempts. Reacted there quickly. So we've breached liquidity. We reacted. We are stretched from the moving average quite far. We know we had some buyers above. We found a little bit more below. Nothing really till this point. If we can regain the moving average here and give a pullback, I can take a high 1 entry off this regain because the reversal entry is strong. If it gives it that way. Never got an entry set up at the low, but Still finding selling pressure off that moving average still. Definitely didn't take it back like I was, looking for right there. So gotta wait. These low one entries on the moving average touches are working. Failed to really gain really much, like anything there. Looks like we want to take another stab at the low, maybe. That was our first 5-minute candle to make a high above the other candle on the day so far. It's the first one. Rechecking the low within 1 tick so far. $75 and then down at 60 next 2 areas we don't hold here. This 5-minute candle ends up closing above this last sell-off one, so it'd look like a good higher low test for a possible mean reversion, but I'd rather it check below or at least equal. Trying again. Stalling down here. It looks like it wants to check below, or we're at least hesitating that. Getting some inside. There we go. Did check below. 1 tick so far. If we get a nice reversal signal here, I like it. Did close higher. Take this one. Myself 2 ticks of room. Look, see if we can catch this mean reversion trade. Getting some hesitation still. We're not going to want to see it get too much resistance above. We'd want to see it go through pretty quickly if it works. And that would give me the confidence to let it try to go up a little bit more. But in theory, this entry would get us above this 5-minute candle if we can hold. Not the greatest follow through. Probably going to stop us out. Yep. All right. It was a good opportunity, though. It was great risk to reward. Good setup. Was lining up a good setup on both time frames. Downward pressure still very dominant. It's failing to close below what we lost. It's almost like it just trapped me out real quick, and it's makes me want to revenge trade it. 5-minute candle didn't actually close where I was hoping that it would close based on my original entry. So I'll be patient. Ideally, that one tick poke started to give the signal to buy up. We got our trigger, we got in. Ideally, that would have gone up a little bit, and then that 5-minute candle would have closed higher than that previous attempt to go up. It would have looked good, but didn't follow through that way. Not going to revenge trade it, even though we did buy up again and hold. The 5-minute didn't close where I wanted it to, so the whole principle behind why I took the original trade didn't actually happen. If I get proven that we recover very quickly here, and you know, my original thesis was kind of correct, my entry was a little early, but I could try to do the high one off the recovery of the moving average, but that would be it. Reaction and follow through looks good. This was what I was hoping to get off of the first entry. Still got a pretty bearish reaction so far off that moving average touch again. Definitely not the reaction you'd want to see. Damn, it sure did react bullish for the reaction that I didn't want to see. See what happens here on this retest above again. See if we break above 84 or 85, sorry. Oh. A little bit of coiling happening. We're gonna go, we didn't make a high. Probably check below previous, yeah. Do we hold a high or low and actually retest the low? Gonna sit on my hands through here. I don't really want either now. Does look okay. The more it goes green and hesitates here for a mean reversion opportunity, we are very stretched away from the moving average. Was a little messier down here than I wanted. Do we break above 85 now? Should. Double top so far. So we have kind of like somewhat of an attempt at a bottoming happening here. Still not really regaining our moving average with any kind of strength or confidence yet. That's one tick above 85 so far. Okay, two. Be watching very closely for once we catch back up to this 5-minute moving average for a nice short opportunity. If we get that far, but we did just regain a little bit. See if we close above. It didn't V. We didn't get the V to retake the moving average, so there's no high one entry off the moving average for me in the opposite direction. So I've got to just chill again. I had a swing at the reversal entry, but ended up stopping us out. Didn't really give me the follow through I wanted to see at all. We did actually now go above. So it was the original target from this entry. So I mean, we're big chilling now. In theory, nice. I mean, the 5-minute candle didn't close above, but it did close near the high. We got an inside candle. The reversal did 2 legs now from this low. I was 1 low too early. But my signal was on this one. There was not really any way. I mean, I could have done the same thing again, but didn't like the 5-minute presentation after mine had been stopped out. So nothing there for me. We did a 2-leg pullback kind of. Actually, it never went higher, so it was still just 1 move. We have a 1-2 now. For me on the 1-minute chart, which is what I expect out of the reversal entry. 2-legged move. We were pretty stretched. Makes sense, you know, we were trying to time it. Close. Really not wanting to close above that level, that's for sure. It's kind of nasty looking up there. We've got this moving average though, because we came above it enough now, and the tops here. Trying to bounce off the moving average. Not really giving me the presentation that I want, but we know that this, you know, now that we've regained shorting above on this retake, got a lot of things to get back down through. Is struggling though. Yeah, 1 tick below. Yeah. If we regain 87.75, we should see a new high here, new local high. Not successfully getting back up there though. Looks kind of like we've ran into sellers again above this high, hesitating. Oh, we're trying again. The 5-minute chart, we actually don't have a candle that has closed above our pullback candle still of 88 flat. Still have not closed above that on the 5-minute chart. It's going to be pretty important if we're going to come back up to test the moving average. Otherwise, we'll see another test of the low probably. Yeah, still failure to gain. You might see our retest. I don't know how much faith I have in a higher low test. Technically it did break above, but we never closed above, and you know, we hesitated pretty hard. There's our test low. Sellers were still in control up here. We're gonna test liquidity underneath some of these wicks. I'm not too sure. The only way that I would play a higher low is if we come down and test like a tick or two below right now, below these wicks, and we reverse and close back up above this small buy-up candle. That'd be the only way. And then I would play that as a higher low, expecting a move up to test back up closer to the moving average. But that might be wishful thinking. That would be the trade setup though if it happened for me. Otherwise, we might see another lower low test. See what happens here. We got our 1 tick poke below now. 2 ticks. Do we get a lower low? We do get a lower low. So seller's still in control. Next area of interest for me then is a test below here, a below 75. 75. And then ultimately down here, 60, 61. What's our volume looking like on 30-minute per section here? See, yeah, we're 195 and 103. So decent relative volume. I try to look for around 200K contracts in that A period for, you know, to confirm that maybe the one-time move continues, and it does meet that standard. Testing that to the low, to the tick right now. There we go. Check below it. See if we get any reaction below that swing low or not. Still actually didn't even make it to the moving average on that pop. So we had good analysis this morning. $76.25. Yeah, it's not a bad spot because we now checked liquidity. So I was looking for the same thing if I get a candlestick pattern to get in off of at the location for sure. Are you still okay, mate? We definitely did not react from that liquidity point. Not yet, not yet. Ooh, we scaling in. Next liquidity point. Kind of the low for me. Getting some buys. Getting some buys. Yeah, no worries, man. That's a very unlucky time for the platform to go down for you. Make the phone call, man. A nice one-time push down. We're too far away from the moving average for me to take this low one, though. Technically, low one just triggered, but it's too far away. See if we hold a higher low. We get a lower low. That next liquidity point for me, really, we're looking at 61. I think our low on Friday was like right there, 55. This purple line's incorrect. That down. Get a little bit of reaction off that lower low pop. I got you, eh? That's all right. Good try, man. Good try. That's scary. Your platform went down, though. That's like the worst possible time for that to happen, eh? Damn. When the platform went down, did it at least like maintain your orders? Like your stop was still like set and stuff, so it couldn't like run against you? Nice, yeah. That's good. That's good. Follow through on this low one is kind of strange. We are very far away from our moving average again. Quite extended. That was pretty strong second leg. So, I mean, if we actually zoom out and we count legs from that trap level, we did have a pretty large move. I don't know if the second leg will be the equal size. It's not exactly where I would deploy the measured move, because we did have a little bit of a reversal action and then some stair stepping, so it's not really the first leg. But it does look, we're checking the lows now of that little flag on the daily that we kind of put in. That looks all right. below, small inside candle, check below, reverse, closed up. Reversed up now. One tick though. Would have been a 4 full point risk. Okay, not a 1 tick break anymore. This part down here does look good. We tested low, we had some indecision, quickly checked below the indecision, and then closed back up above our doji. It's a decent long signal for sure. It just didn't happen at a liquidity point. There was no, you know. But it does look nice. It looks nice enough that it may register for we regain our moving average here and retest. I'll be looking to get long if it sets up that way. Close some of the gap between here and the moving average. It's a clean one-time push. Not like this one. So it's got a couple good things that I look for in this entry. See here. Not what we were looking for. Pretty big engulfing candle. Oh, that sucks, man. It's like worst case scenario for sure. Technical difficulties, the worst time possible. Well, at least you know though, right? Like you couldn't do the management control, but your approach did work. Yeah, you would have made profit on the other one and basically got the other one out at break even, eh? First entry would have been pretty much break even. And then you would have made 4 points on the other one, yeah. Well, our start to momentum up didn't follow through here like I was looking for. It gave a nice bearish signal after it extended one tick higher. However, wasn't really looking for a low one short. This is the retest of the entry right now. Kind of been on the wrong mindset of the market today. Most of the day, it feels like for me. Spent a lot of energy watching for reversals and mean reversion trades, and the market has continued to trend against me. So it's been difficult to time. This was kind of a miss. It was a miss, not kind of. It was. A trade would have already exited though. As soon as I would have started to get this bearish candle up here on the moving average, I would have ditched the trade. But at the same time, as it was starting to follow through the moving average, I was kind of looking for a different setup to happen here. That didn't happen either. Instead, we still met selling pressure. Because of the approach to the moving average, I wasn't interested in taking this low one opportunity either. That's kind of trapped me out of getting long or short now at this point. Yeah, I guess that's kind of where I sit. The only actionable thing I could have done here was buying this candle close. But if I'm being honest, I wasn't stalking it really super hard because it didn't happen at a liquidity point. I don't think anyway. So I was like, well, yeah. I mean, after we broke under these two, I'm looking for here. Looks like sellers are still trying to hold it down. The bigger opportunities in the market today now have absolutely been shorts, which is what I said I wanted to look for at the market open. And price action wise, this looks beautiful. That is like the exact setup that I would want, but the risk was really, really big to get in, and it didn't happen on the right approach. And then kind of same thing here, price action off the moving average looks good, but again, wanted it off two legs, not one. Nothing here. Same thing here, price action looks good for a failure to break out, but my mind was already looking at possible reversal happening. Now we've pulled back. We've done a two-legged pullback off of like kind of a quick pop, which, I mean, it's not really, I'm not interested in longing here. Maybe we form a higher low, but it's not any actionable thing for me. Still yet to hit the moving average. We tried to catch up here, but did fail right at the same level that we lost before. Never actually closed back above it. So down we go. Higher low looks good. Looks like it is trying to work. When we're trying to regain the moving average, looks like we want to check a little higher. So this is potentially setting up a two-legged pullback on the 5-minute chart. So if we break above 77.25 here, we're going to be watching for potential failure signs. If it sets up that way. Our one tick poke so far. No signs of failure yet. Tried to create an engulfing candle there. Bought it back up quickly so far. We're gonna close it back near the low. Not gonna take it, even if it breaks below 75. It's too much pressure through here. And we have the moving average now to regain. It didn't even trigger, but didn't look right. Looked more like we wanted to test higher. So we're coming back up to what we lost through here, around 80. Depending on how long we hesitate there, the moving average may catch up a little bit. It's a better looking signal than the original. Actually went down lower than it. I do like that. Give me a cheaper entry. Trigger. Started to get bought up instantly. Trigger's actually too far away. Just trying to go long. That first retest of the moving average. Oh, maybe not. Almost closed up good. Still closed lower than that important green candle. If it would have closed lower right there, that was a long entry. That retest. Instead, it kind of looks like this was the actual turning point. Now our 5-minute candle is going to close back up in. It didn't regain. Kind of parallel channel here. See if it acts as any sort of respect. I think that this was our key piece of information, that red candle. First one, not quite. Then we tried again, and then that engulfed literally all of that. That was the opportunity there to limit order the retest. And the principle behind this whole trade would then be a 5-minute two-legged pullback actually coming all the way back down and making it low at 66. That would be the exit for that entry for full trade. If you were a 2 contract, maybe 1 contract come out on this uptrend line in case, but ultimately below 67 is the full exit. Really fought the urge to limit order there, but it could have been a mistake. If this would have went down a little bit first before it did that. So I knew the trade had triggered, but because now it looks perfect for the 2-legged pullback on the 5-minute chart that never actually achieved the high, still failed at the same underside. We're at our channel low now, so probably some profit taking. A little bit of hesitation there. I'm not truly certain, I guess, if it really matched all my rules on if I wanted to take that trade or not. Which led to just too much hesitation. Getting a little bit of volatility back up. I'll be right back, 1 second. Yeah, short still looks great. Got some reaction off that channel like we expected. Still failed the moving average. Never actually even made a high over that candle. Still looking for a full target extension. Concept was there, context was there, theory was there, we were ready. Price action, not exactly what I wanted to see. Signal it was so close. I really feel like maybe I'm just a little bit too picky with those still. Things aren't always going to line up to look exactly the same as I'm like looking for, and it was like very close. Everything made sense. Our second batch of buy up volatility there. Trying to hold this low. Because this is the first candle to actually make a high over the previous candle on this push down, if this next candle went lower, it would allow me to then trail this risk stop out now down to this point. Not yet, but if it were to make a low. All right, we'd be removing risk now. Trailed stop. Boom, that would be full target exit. Right there. What a great trade. You had like literally a 10 point trade right there. Almost no heat. That was a miss. That's literally the AAA setup right there. Nice strong downtrend. Finally get the two-legged pullback on the 5-minute chart. Find the weakness on the 1 minute to get short off of. Boom. Hold for full extension on the 5-minute chart, trailing 1 minute stops. Textbook, couldn't have been better. Full target. However, signal bar looked great, overlapped the previous little price action here, especially because we tried to tease sellers here, and then it gave a limit order back up in, but no trigger first. Trigger happened here. Would have been a great trade. Now that now in saying that, generally I like to try to let that trade go further than just extension, but in this market, because we've done a couple steps now in today's cycle, I would have taken it on extension right away. Now if it would have given me a two-legged pullback as this one, like as the first one, I would have tried to hold it for much further than extension, trailing the stop on the way. But because this is now the second time, it's not, for me, it's not quite as strong. So on extension, in case it tries to do a reversal off the extension type thing, I don't want to give it all back. But yeah, really, really good trade there. I do have technically in my entry conditions that if the signal candle is too large and above risk tolerance, consider limit ordering in on the retest of the low/high start point, which would have been that second candle right here when it came up to retest. I could have shorted. I mean, I thought about it hard, but I was just too much of a wiener. I didn't do it. Too much of a wiener. All right, we can remove these channel lines because they're done. That channel played out, broke out. So we now have the next part of the move. We are trying to find some bids down here on extension like we kind of anticipated, which is why I would have ditched the trade. Quite a move back up in so far. We have 1:30 left on the 5-minute candle close. If this chart put out another good two 1-minute candles to the upside, this 5-minute candle would close as a full engulfing after the breakout, which may give us a reversal entry off the 1-minute retest of the moving average. That's how it played out, because that would line up with this candle being quite large, but we'll see. long 70.50. Yep. So our theses are kind of looking similar. There's your 2 points. Nice. Good shit, man. Double top there. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, stick to your plan. So it definitely did not follow through there to retake the moving average like I wanted to see for a long entry. And it ended up kind of closing that 5 minute where it did at this because of how it developed. So we're bad chilling again. Technically today, now I've had 3 opportunities. 1, 2, 3. And I only swung the bat once, and it was at the one that lost out of the 3. So that's kind of funny. It's pretty typical for me. It's kind of, I mean, it's again, man, like, it's the, I want to say it's helping me grow confidence, but it hasn't obviously helped me grow confidence enough to keep pulling the trigger yet. I need to cross that bridge and actually do it again so that I can do it. Because when I do my write-up at the end of the day, again, right, and presented so far 3 opportunities, 2 worked nicely for more than, both of them paid out like 2 to 1 compared to the original loss. So that's literally perfect. This one paid out really big when managed properly. And that is how my system is designed to manage it. Gave a perfect swing point to eliminate risk from too. It was these were misses for sure. And it's funny, like looking at this reversal compared to this one even looks better. Like visually, this looks way better than this one. But I'll worry about that at the end. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, man. I'm learning. Slowly but surely. I like that one tick poke. The amount of downward pressure that we've had today so far, it feels like they want to eventually test underneath the lows. These other daily candles. I mean, that's what it feels like anyway. We're like 10 points away, basically-ish. That is technically a two-legged pullback now to the moving average with one tick above the first leg. It's kind of nasty looking with a lot of overlap, but it did happen. This went lower, then we went higher. 5 minutes still looks not ideal for a reversal. Let's watch the market make a liar out of me real quick here. Not a good enough signal for me. Does look iffy. Kind of tight range, but at the same time, like it does kind of show it's failing to hold that moving average. Be looking for a new low off of that signal. I don't like doji candle signals. Looks like it's getting some good follow through though. Should get a new low now. We didn't get a new low yet. I come back, test the entry at 67.75. There's our new low. Didn't even really give 1-to-1 yet, to be honest. Just part of the reason why I didn't take it as well. Kind of shitty signal candle. Wasn't sure how much to expect out of it as well. If I can't get at least 1.5-to-1 on quick extension in case the extension gets bought back up and it's a failed breakout, it's not usually a good idea for me. Even if it does work, it's just not really worth it. Got a little bit of hesitation down here though. Inside doji after attempt to buy up. If this went down, double tested, closed back up higher than the doji's close, that would be a potential mean reversal trade. Has to be a double bottom exactly or a small extension and reverse. Went up first. We're gonna do a second leg up again. That's the first leg. That's the first opportunity to short. We come up again. Not yet. Low one still working. New low. Getting closer and closer. This is our low from the Friday cash open. But it does go a little bit lower than that. 60 or 55-ish. New low. Again. Stair stepping still continuing. It's getting smaller though. Candle ranges are getting a lot smaller. We're about to hit 1230. Oh, quick pop back up there. A little bit of short positions getting closed real quick there at 12:29. It's trying to hold a double bottom right there. It did close bullish. It closed higher than the previous candle. No real like setup or anything, but oh, it held the double bottom. Did go higher. Maybe we finally make a push and try to close the gap to the moving average. Nice. Came back, test the moving average. We still held buyers after the W. Got a little extension. Teasing right back down, eh? It did do 2 legs after that. So if you were playing the reversal, like my stop would be on a trail to this swing point. If we break back below this swing point, then I mean, I am anticipating a new low again. It holds this swing point. It's trying to hold. We could still anticipate a little bit of a move higher. Looking to get close to this moving average. Still not touched it yet in this session. Not the worst price action at the bottom here for it to happen. We'll see. It's not the greatest price action right here either, to be honest. We got like a hanging man beside this big bullish candle on a move up. Yeah, it looks pretty bad for upside movement. It only went 1 tick underneath. The fact that it only went 1 tick below that leaves me hesitant to limit short right here. Risking off here, looking for the extension now lower. If it would have went more than 1 tick, I would be more interested, because we definitely have a lot of negative price action right here off the 2 legs, but that one factor is making me question. Now, if this market tested higher again now and failed, I'd be okay. But I'm not going to risk off this point now because the failure was, it didn't actually close below it and it only checked by 1 tick. So I'm not convinced of either direction, so I'm going to wait. We had a few good signals today. Unfortunately, didn't capitalize on them properly like I should have. Same old story. But good learning, again, good visual awareness. Good, like, you know, we managed this trade as if we were in it, but should have been. I need to be okay with that style of entry system because the candle was so big, but it's just not. I even have it in the strategy saying that it's okay to do that, but it's not typically how I would get in. So it wasn't my immediate thought reaction to do it, but we got a double top now. Do we extend? One tick so far. We got 2 ticks. Didn't close above. Visually though, I just don't like how, for shorting, the fact that this candle tried to close as a, you know, a bearish candle and we've already taken it and gone above it. I would have rathered us get closer to the moving average off of this now. We have done 3 pushes now, and it looks to be trying to fail on this third one. But visually, generally, this candle, I wouldn't normally see it now close bearish like that after this one, which has me hesitant. It is definitely trying though. We're 1245. It's not AAA setup. I'm not gonna force something that's not like, oh my gosh, I want this like so bad, you know. Yeah, I think so. I don't FOMO into anything here. I'm going to do my review of the day real quick. Give it another peek in a couple of minutes. When we opened up this morning, there was a few factors that had me basically only wanting to look for shorts at the open. And that was the fact that we had just put in a trap level right here on the 5 minute a few minutes before the open, which lined up with being the failure of the second entry long. Market was quite bullish. We pulled back and first attempt long failed, which we expected. Second attempt right there failed, and ended up creating a trap and then rolling over and ultimately basically opening as that market was failing that second entry. So for me, that's a very opposite signal. That second opportunity fails. Not interested in the third, more so taking that as the market was not as unbalanced as I expected and probably going to go the other way, which we did very aggressively. Now, price action right here presented a quite nice opportunity right off the moving average. We had our big spike candle up, small inside, you know, like doji candle, and then the market quickly tests the opposite side, closes past the doji candle, showing a nice reversal opportunity. However, candle was pretty large. I would have had to start the day by risking like almost 4.5 points off of what was technically a low one signal. And I guess, to be honest, if I roll forward on this chart, look at this opportunity, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so slight mistake, I guess, in that regard, that there was 5 candles in a row. When I was looking at this chart, which doesn't have the out of session trading, it wasn't quite there. So I was hesitant. So I guess technically, yes, that should have been taken, and that was also a miss. We had the prerequisite of the candle one timing push in a row before, and then we had a beautiful quick spike to the moving average, and then really that's a beautiful signal. The risk was high as far as point concern, but it did give straight like to profit target extension, which you would have wanted. And then, as we know, this setup almost always after extension, the market will come straight back and check the entry location of the setup. It did it right there, and then also gave a signal and went all the way down again. So literally in the strategy, that's what we have written down, right? If this signal works, if the high one or low one trade works and you get full extension, the market almost always comes back and tests literally the entry location like perfectly. But I will admit that visually, when this was happening here, that was not my thought process at all. So didn't end up shorting under here for the retest of that trade signal. So the market came down. We were kind of like hesitant, a little bit of struggle had some overlapping candles. It definitely there wasn't candles one timing the opposite way, right? Like we held highs. We never made a single high, but some of the candles were inside and not making lows. So it is one-sided, but there was some pressure from the bulls still through this area. We got a little pop-up back to the moving average. Same thing, right? Wasn't really interested in the low one because of the prerequisite, but trade did follow through. Down here, this is where we took our first trade. We went long when this market showed decent bullish, pressure. We came back down for the retest. We got some inside candles, hesitation, and then we went one tick below the low. Closed back up in, did close right up, like equal or higher than to the previous candle, failing to break out, and then I went long instantly right there. Unfortunately, market made one more push below and then did its move up. So we were close, but did end up getting stopped out. Did not revenge trade this because I just generally don't revenge trade and don't really have that as part of the system or anything like that. So is what it is. It got stopped out. Market went to the actual target, which was right above the swing, which is what we were looking for. And on the 5-minute chart, we were looking for a two-legged pullback potentially at this point. Didn't get it. Ended up creating a trap level right there because it went just above our pullback high, made a low, and then came right up and went a little bit higher. So we had some expanding price action, and then we ultimately did continue lower. So price action up here did look pretty bearish, but again, I wasn't 100% about taking a trade there, so missed that move. Down here, we had a beautiful long entry as well. This was purely a miss. I remember I was like zoomed out looking at a different time frame, not really stalking this trade whatsoever at this point in time. So this was a miss, but ultimately what should have happened here is as we pushed down, the market had a little bit of profit taking or bullish pressure, tested again, got some indecision. We had a nice inside candle close. The market tested below everything real quick, came right back up, closed at its high above our indecision candle. Good reversal signal for a long entry right above. It was definitely within risk tolerance. It was close again, but it was within, and then it gave straight up quick push to the moving average. Now ultimately with this reversal entry, the idea is two legs. So leg one, looking for leg two, no candle went higher to initiate. This is the first candle that went higher, so we could have moved our stop now to here, and then we did get our actual second leg extension. So you would have had to take profit up here on this extension or the first sign of weakness, which was the candle that also initiated our two-legged pullback short on the 5-minute chart. Now, when this market was moving up here, I did say as we were coming up here that I was watching for a sign of weakness to get short off of, or two-legged pullback on the 5-minute chart. Like we were stalking the trade for that exact thing. Now, when it happened, this candle formed. Wasn't a big enough. It wasn't enough yet. I was expecting more, and then we had that green follow through. Now, at this point in time, I was almost starting to disregard, but then this guy formed, and I was like, all right, that's a really good signal. You know, it engulfed the both of these last couple candles. We checked higher. We closed at the very low. This next candle, we did even get our trigger. If we wanted to do it robotically and put the stop entry one tick below, it did get filled within two candles, so it still was within rules. However, the risk was we were going to be filled at 75.50, and our exit would have been 80.25. So, you know, a little bit higher than I wanted, but this next candle gave an opportunity to just limit short off of that sell signal, and I should have done it, and I know I'm allowed to do it within the strategy. I just hesitated too much. We were stalking it, we were waiting for it, we got what we wanted, and just hesitated. That was just another miss, straight up mistake miss. And with this two-legged pullback strategy, again, you hold this anticipating full extension on the 5-minute chart. So on the way down, you trail your stop under any candle that makes the highs. So here, could have eliminated a little bit of risk. Market moved down, no highs were made here. Still nothing. Okay, candles made a high here, and then as we started to go lower again, we could have eliminated a little bit more risk and trailed to here. And then market gave full extension. Now, I hold the trade looking for extension. Just a second, I want to look at this price action here. We checked below. Exhaustion candle. Checking one tick lower, closed up nice and high. And I do and I don't like it. It's 12:55 though. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to finish this review. So yeah, trailed that stop, it gave full extension. Now on the strategy, we know that if it's between legs 1 and 2, we expect a full measured move target, and we would be very like greedy with trying to let the trade run. When it's the third push of the day, I do not expect that, and we absolutely should take it out on extension, or the first sign of weakness during extension, which was right away. We extended, immediately got this candle close of indecision, should have exited the trade. So was a really nice trade. It worked out perfectly. Unfortunately, a miss. Next trade happened here. Wasn't a huge fan of the doji signal candle. I mean, it did close a little bit bare bodied, but it's not perfect. But realistically, right, we had our extension, we had pull up, this candle went lower, so that's our first attempt to short, came up a little bit higher, and right there would have been the entry for the second attempt to short. Now, kind of still like, yeah, it's an entry, but is it really perfect? It's not really perfect. It did work, it did give extension. You could have trailed and got another extension, but you know, wasn't the greatest, because I mean, ultimately the first part of the equation is the risk to reward, and I was getting only barely 1-to-1 risk to reward on like a 1.5 extension, which I had to do. So if it would have one tick poked or anything, I wouldn't even have got 1-to-1. It just, there's a few things that I wasn't AAA, you know, so no trade initiation there. And then ultimately that's pretty much the only thing that we really wanted up until that point. After this, we were kind of watching, we were waiting here to potentially get short, but we only went one tick below, so it completely made me not interested. It didn't close below, the breakout didn't really fail, so I waited. And then as we got some indecision up here, again, I was like, well, yeah, we've done our 3 push now after the correction. It is failing to break out. Maybe we get a retest of the low, but wasn't perfect. And at that point, visually on the 5-minute chart, I was kind of hesitant because of our red candle close doji here, and then this one ended up buying up. I was like, well, visually, do I expect this candle to now sell back down and close negative again? I didn't, to be honest. I didn't. So it just had, using the 2 time frames kind of discouraged that trade a little bit. And I mean, it never actually did. Oh, it extended by 1 tick, technically. So we are getting a nice bullish reaction now off that 1 tick poke. So technically it did do what the setup was designed to capture, but not the greatest. And ultimately at that point, I was really hoping again for that 2-leg pullback, but so yeah, what should have happened today, you know, this one was a miss, and it gave us our plus, you know, our 2-to-1. This trade here was -1 and a little bit. This trade here should have been our +2. This trade here should have been over +2. This trade, even though it did give like 1.5 or so, it's not really the greatest trade. No trade signal and bad risk to reward, so not really what I wanted to do. And then again, right here, I was really indecisive, so not really gonna say that there was a trade set up there. And then technically right here, there was just a trade signal for a long, but time of day being my cutoff, not gonna take it, didn't take it, but did work. Anticipating this trade though would be a move above here. The theory behind this trade is that 1 tick poke, this is creating a W on the 5-minute, and we are finally going to come up and test our moving average or get above it potentially, would be the principle behind the risk on this chart. So again, you know, you'd be looking for 64.75 entry, which did get triggered within 2 candles. Stop out was 62, so 2.5 points, almost 3 points, not bad. And your extension 64.75, so like 70, 75, 71, 75. Yeah, so you know 2 to 1, 2 to 1 for extension. Does it's coming back to test the entry right now exactly, so be a little scary. And didn't actually react at all right now, so you'd be in heat, looking like you're about to get stopped out. I'd be probably exiting this trade right now on break even as it bounced a little bit, because that is not visually what you would want to see at all. Absolute maximum you'd want to see on this would be it, if it didn't hold the moving average, would be to hold the entries, and it didn't either. So that's not the presentation you're looking for. But yeah, finishing down a little bit, small loss, but was a day that could have given good green opportunities again. Even with that loss, should have taken back that loss and grown many risk points past it if I managed the trades correctly and took the trades that I was supposed to. So again, another day where that is the factor that prevents us from being green at the end of the day. Not because I over traded, but because I under traded. So another one for the spreadsheet and another one for the books, showing that that is the sole factor of why I am not finishing green today. And under trading. We are trying to hold it to the tick, but anyways, that's my day. If anybody's still around, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. If you're still trading, have a good afternoon session. I'm not gonna lie, when I got up this morning before I started trading, I prepared a full-size 17-pound brisket, and it's in my smoker right now, and it will smoke all day, and I'm very excited. So tomorrow I'll give you an update about how it turned out. But usually like twice a year, my wife and I will smoke a brisket, and yeah, delicious. But yeah, all right, take care guys, and yes, see you guys tomorrow morning, same